Welcome to the Retail Insider video interview series. I'm your host, Craig Patterson, and we're joined here today with two special guests. This is Tim Kocur. He's Executive Director of the Toronto Waterfront BIA, as well as Dorsa Alizadeh. She's the Manager of Operations at the Toronto Waterfront BIA. Welcome, both of you.
Thanks for
Thanks,
having us.
Craig.
Let's get started here. Now, let's talk a bit about how things are going on the waterfront lately. I know there's been a lot of energy and we've had some good weather in Toronto. Any updates here on what's happening in the waterfront?
Well, things are great. We always are busy during the summers. We had a bit of a slow start during May. There was an exceptionally amount of rainfall this year. Just to put it into context, we had about 300 millimeters of total rainfall this May as compared to last May, which was only 88 millimeters. So significantly larger amounts of rainfall, which kind of contributed to a little bit of a slow start. June is coming along strong. It came along strong, and we were back at last year's numbers. So a lot of exciting things happening, and Harbourfront Center is very active with their programming. So a lot of people around the waterfront and a lot of new exciting cafes and restaurants have opened up since last year. So we're definitely seeing a lot of hustle and bustle down here during this time.
Now, we were talking a bit about the East Waterfront, which is part of the overall Waterfront BAA, but I've got a question, Tim. Can you share how things are going right now with the East Waterfront, its development, and what's next for the area?
Well, it seems to be busier and busier each year. I think your most recent article with the waterfront, you referred to the Eastern Waterfront as a development powerhouse, which is certainly true. I mean, the scale of development in the last 15 years is just kind of mind-boggling. If someone hasn't been down here in 2 or 3 years even, there's significant new towers. I guess there's some exciting new businesses too. I mean, the funny thing is when we did our broker package recently, the retail vacancies only decreased by 4 because there was about 26 new businesses in the neighborhood, but there was also quite a few new retail opportunities in the east that haven't filled in yet. So we actually have pretty low retail vacancy, except for that new part of the waterfront that just isn't filled in yet. But there's businesses like Ethos Climbing at Jarvis, some interesting experiential stuff. We have a Shoppers Drug Mart now on the Eastern Waterfront. And there's now 2 patios right on the water, both Irene and Simona along the Water's Edge Promenade past Sugar Beach there. And then there's just other exciting things going on, like Waterfront Toronto at the very end of Queens Quay. I mean, by the time people listen to this podcast, you can now go to parts of the Bidasage Island or Bidasage Park. That's the new park on what they call Villagers Island now, which is Oquaim and Minising. You can actually now go to that park as of right now. And then there's also the major thing with the Eastern Waterfront is it doesn't have the LRT transit, but we certainly keep seeing good signs that the city of Toronto is moving along. I think one good bit of news is that LRT has moved from the Transportation Planning Division to the Transit Expansion Office, which is actually focused on delivery of the project. And this year, the city also installed dedicated bus lanes, sort of alluding to the fact that the Eastern Waterfront will have dedicated transit lanes in the future. And that's to hopefully speed up the buses to help people get back and forth on the Eastern Waterfront, where unfortunately too many people are still using their cars to get to work or to get home every day.
That's excellent news because the Eastern Waterfront definitely would be benefit from having public transit, in a really meaningful way to get people in there, not to mention residents supporting the retail and whatnot. So very happy about the bus lane situation here in the meantime, as the LRT, at some point, someday will come about, I think, here. And there was a very exciting restaurant that just very recently opened on the waterfront, which I guess would be technically the Western Waterfront, but it's called Queen's Harbour. It looks absolutely spectacular. I got to tour it just before it opened. Who wants to tell me a bit about Queen's Harbour? Have either of you been there yet?
It's an excellent new addition to the waterfront. We don't have anything like it along the waterfront in this area, so it's definitely very exciting. It's about, I think, 23,000 square feet, which is huge. And it's 600 to 800 seats, depending on the patio situation. It's kind of a restaurant nightclub hybrid. So at the front, it's more restaurant vibes, and you can order food, sit down. And in the back, where they call the garden, Queen's Garden, I believe, turns into a nightclub after, I think, about 10 p.m. and has I think, the largest retractable roof in Toronto. So during the summers, it's a great place to be. It's really close to the water. They got great food. It's Asian Mediterranean fusion. And I know a few of my friends who've been a couple of times since its opening, and it's only been a week since it's opened. So definitely generating a lot of excitement in the area.
It's amazing. I need to check it out myself. I haven't had a chance to go in yet,
You
but
should, yeah, you really should.
I've seen pictures and videos, and the interior just looks incredible. People will definitely have to visit if you're on the waterfront. It's going to be a must visit, I think, for people coming down to the waterfront, especially if they haven't seen it yet.
For sure, yeah.
We did a walk around the waterfront a little while ago, and Tim, you were mentioning some potential hotel development, which is part of an overall ecosystem that we're seeing of development in the area. Do you have any updates on that?
That was one of the exciting things we didn't realize until we were snooping around doing our retail review last year, how many sites still have the potential to become hotels, especially since the pandemic. There seems to be even more plans to incorporate hotels into redevelopments or some of the sites that haven't been developed yet. The main one that should be open, I guess, around the end of the year, we're expecting in the next 6 months or so, Le Meridian will open in the One Young complex. That's where the Toronto Star building has always been, and it'll be in the base of the Sky Tower, the 107-story apartment building that's pretty tall already. I think it's over 80 stories. I think it's already the tallest building on the waterfront. It's not even close to topped out. That should be coming up soon. And then we know that there's a hotel planned for a property that's being redeveloped down near Spadina Street. And we're also hoping that there will be another hotel as part of the plans down at Bathurst as well, near the Island Airport. And I guess another thing I should mention we're expecting in the next 6 months that's exciting at the western end. The Billy Bishop Toronto City Airport should have their U.S. pre-customs clearance facilities opened up by the end of the year. Like, that's been an exciting development that we've been watching move forward. And so you'll now be able to go to potentially additional destinations in the U.S. that don't have customs facilities there, because you can do it at the Toronto end as well. So that's going to be a kind of another game changer for the Western waterfront in the next year or so.
That's going to be useful, and also that's going to result in probably more people going to that airport.
For sure. It's also, I think that the most interesting example is right now you go to Newark Airport from the Island Airport in New York, but you can now get to the other side of New York because we assume that they'll start flying to LaGuardia, which is obviously a more accessible airport to different parts of New York, and does not have U.S. customs facilities so as a domestic airport, but people would be able to go to Billy Bishop to get there in the near future too.
Now let's talk about finding our way around generally. I know that during the walk that we did at the Waterfront BIA, there was some terrific wayfinding that's been added here. Whether or not that's temporary or otherwise, I think there was some feedback that it can be sometimes hard to find your way around. Tell me a bit about some of the wayfinding initiatives that we've seen here in the waterfront recently.
The wayfinding initiative was a result of the retail review that the Waterfront BIA did last year. So when we were out doing our research, talking to a lot of businesses, they kept telling us and letting us know that most of the visitors, when they come to the waterfront, they actually want to stay on the south side of Queens Quay where the water is. And they don't it's kind of hard for them to look around and find places to eat and drink. And some of the food establishments are a bit out of sight once you're on the water. So we decided to add more wayfinding along the south side of Queens Quay where most of the visitation happens, and kind of pointing out where the best, well, not the best, just any food or drink facility is in the area, so we can kind of extend their experience on the waterfront and help them navigate east and west around the area. I believe we had 5 wayfinding signs around the area last year, and this year we've increased it to 7, so it's going great. And there's actually more coming, so stay tuned and you get to see what more we have planned in terms of wayfinding.
Get most excited about finding new ways to put arrows pointing to things on the waterfront. Any way we can get new wayfinding up, we'll do it.
It's the easiest way.
Oh, and does that include there's a temporary park, I think, that was put up at 40 Queens Quay East. I think I saw it during the tour, but can you tell me a bit about this park and what's in it?
The quick intro to what the park is. It's supposed to be a permanent park, but it's gonna take a bit of time to find a final design and final name for the location. So as the BIA, we requested there be a temporary park in the area so that it's not just an empty lot sitting there. And the city delivered. So there's going to be a new temporary park at 40 Queens Quay East, and we're going to be adding some exciting and kind of whimsical picnic tables to the area just to liven it up a bit in the meantime.
On the theme of other things that we've seen moving forward, hopefully mostly positively since we did the retail review about a year ago, again, on that eastern waterfront side, we've seen it. This was the biggest challenge area where near the Redpath sugar refinery, like the remaining industrial facility on the eastern waterfront, it's a pretty significant stretch where you really can't see the next thing to do. Doesn't exactly encourage people to move forward. So that was one of the reasons why we wanted to do more wayfinding in places like that. But there's this new temporary park going, we assume is going to be open at the end of the summer here that Dorsa was referring to. But then there's also like Redpath's actually done quite a bit of beautification in front of their facility. They've got the beautiful flowers out there now. And we also think long term, I mean, one of the interesting things from the retail review was just there's certain things that aren't going to happen in the next couple of years, but it gave us a lot of new perspectives on where improvements can be made as there's redevelopment. Like for instance, Redpath's going to be there forever with their industrial facility, but we do expect that their their frontage of their building will likely be redeveloped. Their office will probably be expanded in some form. So our request to them when they do redevelop will be to better utilize their front space, ideally for retail. I mean, you could have a Redpath candy store there if you really wanted to. So our hope is that they'll just find ways to better activate that as part of the street front, being associated with them. And then on the western waterfront, there's the parking lot south of the Rogers Center. It's sort of one of the biggest remaining opportunities on the western waterfront to improve the experience. And so there hasn't been a lot of fast movement on it, but the city and Waterfront Toronto have been discussing how to best utilize and redesign that parking lot. Basically, is supposed to turn into a park. There was a plan for it that they're changing the direction on. And so we're hoping they're open to some of our ideas because we think that's the most exciting place to have some sort of activation related to like watching sports. Like if the Rogers Center had a viewing area just south of it where you could watch a game for free, but also potentially sit at a bar that has a indoor component as well. Like that's like 180 days of programming if you just show a Blue Jays game on a screen there, and it's the perfect place. And so that there's no movement on that yet, but we are hearing that they're planning to redesign that park space. And it was also even mentioned in a significant Toronto Star op-ed by Gail Lord and Joe Barrage. So I don't think they read our retail review, but the fact that other people were talking about the high potential of that site too was really exciting recently.
I also just wanted to add the Reese parking lot is one of the few opportunities that is left in the Western waterfront to create some more excitement. And seeing the location of that lot, it's very close to the Rogers Stadium. Rogers
Center.
the Sky Dome. It's Rogers Center. Yes, sorry, couldn't
No,
remember
Rogers Center.
between
Rogers
Rogers
Center.
Stadium and Rogers Stadium. So trying to find the correct one. Yeah, we'd rather them take their time and think of a well thought out design that is going to last through generations, that a lot of generations can work and use effectively. So yeah, just wanted to add that it's one of the bigger opportunities and one of the only opportunities in the western side to kind of change how the area looks.
Tim, was there anything else in the retail review that was completed last year that was notable? Any other big takeaways that we may have missed here?
The Eastern Waterfront, Marche Leo's. That'll be
Marche
one of
Leo's,
the, actually, to be quite honest, I don't know. I'll probably read in Retail Insider soon when they're opening. But I know you can tell they're fitting up the space when I go and peek in. So that's pretty far east on the waterfront. It's in the Bayside Village, like near the. Well, you know what I haven't mentioned that's getting a lot of attention this year is the Aqua Luna building, is the almost like coppery shiny building at the very like at the Parliament slip. So that's yeah, the retail starting to open up in that area is really exciting because that's a huge growth zone. It's only starting. I mean, Quayside is north of that site. That's where Sidewalk Labs was originally developing, and now we hope within the next year or two we'll start to see construction from Dream and the Quayside Impact that's redeveloping that site now with Waterfront Toronto. And then in 2027, there's going to be a bridge from the Parliament Slip area over into the new park at Oquaman-Minising. And next year, 2026, there will be the park, I understand, will be all the way around the rim. Like right now, you can go to the new Biddisage Park for part of it, but next year, the whole park around the rim of that island is going to be opened up. So it's going to be, I guess it's going to be fun to just see people kind of exploring and seeing these new parts of the Eastern waterfront that are really on a pretty massive scale and create like another kilometer of experience onto the East waterfront, basically.
Wow, that is so exciting because there's going to be more opportunities for people to come to the waterfront to visit, see things, and it's going to be great for businesses that are down on the waterfront as well because more people will be coming in, right? You got the distillery district close by as well. We're talking about the East waterfront in this case, but this incredible development, and that bridge is supposed to be pretty interesting looking as well.
We're hoping to create a network of experience with the waterfront distillery, the new island, the new park. So very exciting.
That was maybe something we should highlight from the retail review, was that we started to see that there's going to be a major hub of activity on the eastern waterfront that is effectively an expansion of the distillery district, because you have the same developer building out the Quayside site just south of there and the site to the east of the Quayside site. We expect, and not to mention the Parliament slip plans that Waterfront Toronto has to have potentially like a floating pool, floating restaurants, have more ways to actually get in the water near there. Like that's going to be a pretty exciting hub of activity on the waterfront in the next 10 years or so. So you're sort of going to have a central and east and a west hub in the future, where there's the eastern waterfront hub we're talking about right now. Central waterfront hub already exists and has for 50 years. From the ferry terminal to Harbourfront Center is already quite busy. We'll probably just get more busy in the future. And then on the western waterfront, you have the malting silos near the island airport. And the Corlick building, I guess we haven't mentioned this yet, Dorsa, but the Canada Ireland Foundation's Corlick building, their kind of programming center that's right near the island airport, and those rejuvenated malting silos, that's expected to open next spring, I believe in March. And then you've of course got OCAD starting to program around, like this fall, you'll start to see OCAD programming around the malting silos as well there. So it's pretty exciting stuff coming for central, middle, the central, mid, the east, and the west waterfronts.
Looking ahead for the rest of the summer, are there any standout events, experiences, anything that people should come and see in the waterfront?
Well, we already mentioned a few new businesses, parks, and areas that have come online since last year. But the Toronto Islands is always a great experience and visit. The city has now added bike share stations at the islands, so it's easier to get around. And the businesses that rent out bikes that are more of a I guess more of an experience that I guess up to four can ride on the same bike and kind of explore the island. And they have those specialty bike rentals there. And yeah, it's just a great new way to see kind of Toronto from the other side. Just look at the skyline from the other side of the city and kind of appreciate the city that we live in, and not get hung up on the little stuff like traffic and construction. Kind of just go to the islands, enjoy the park there, bike around, and enjoy the city from another perspective.
This is such an exciting thing here. I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the future with Waterfront Toronto, as well as what's happening with the Waterfront BIA. Lots of new retail tenants are coming in, lots of other development that's going to attract people down there and attract more retailers, I think, as a result, are also happening. So really, really exciting time on the waterfront. Is there anything else want to mention here about the Waterfront BIA in Toronto as we continue into this extra hot summer?
If you're letting us plug, just encourage people to follow us online. Jolene and Athena are pretty much posting every single day things going on in the summer because it's so busy. And I guess I should also say, I mean, Harbourfront Center has quite a lot going on this summer, and they have markets, especially on Saturday. But then there's also every single day they have the Ontario Science Center has a temporary exhibit there called Kids Park. That'll be here through the rest of the year. The Museum of Toronto has a history of basketball in Toronto exhibit at the front of Harbourfront Center, where Lavaza used to be. That's there through the rest of the summer. And then they also have the Power Plant Art Gallery. Their current exhibit is open through the end of the summer. And all three of those on the Harbourfront Center site, two of them are free. So a great place to go and do multiple things within one day, plus be by the water. Why not?
I also just wanted to add about Canada Day. We were able to get fireworks here thanks to Harbourfront Center, I think since 2017, if I'm not wrong. But we always get busy around Canada Day with or without fireworks. So it was nice to finally deliver the people's wishes on getting fireworks for Canada Day. And yeah, Harbourfront Center managed to arrange that and also plan a lot of programming for that area during that long weekend. So we got great numbers in terms of visitations in comparison to last year. We beat last year's Canada Day, so it was great to see that as well.
Craig, I think it's your turn now. You've been asking all the tough questions, but we're going to put you on the spot. Are we going to see Craig Patterson down here on the waterfront by the end of the summer?
Oh, of course, of course. I think given the weather that we're seeing, I have to come this weekend. I really like Sugar Beach, and you've got the pink umbrellas in there, which create a friendly environment, and it's a nice place to go and get a really great view of the water, view of high rises. Check out what's happening on the waterfront. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there.
Awesome.
And everyone else should come down as well. Come join me because I don't want to be alone.
Very well said.
Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us here today. This is Tim Kocur. He's the Executive Director of the Toronto Waterfront BIA, as well as Dorsa Alizadeh, Manager of Operations at the Toronto Waterfront BIA. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us here today.
Thanks for having us, Craig. This was great.
Thanks, Craig.
And I'm Craig Patterson. I'm the founder and publisher of Retail Insider, as well as the host of the Retail Insider video interview series. Thank you so much for joining us here today. And be sure to subscribe on whatever channel you're consuming this on or would like to consume this on if you haven't already. Thank you again. Take care and bye for now.